go off the cuff.
Hey, welcome to Ask Me Anything. We got the whole team here for the holidays to answer all your questions. We got nothing pre-submitted right now, so start putting those in the chat box. We'll start hitting them. We'll do a quick introduction of who everybody is when we get back. Just need to rebrand this thing. We're going to run a quick little 14-second video. We'll be right back. Start putting those questions in. Ask Me Anything happy hour. Here we go. All right, what's up? What's up? Another week of Ask Me Anything Happy Hour, the last Ask Me Anything Happy Hour of 2022. So today's been a lot of talk about goal planning and how to get to and achieve your goals in 2023, how to be prepared. And we got some rock stars on the call today to answer any questions you have about how to succeed in 2023. So what's up, guys? So I think we should go around the horn. So Craig, just let us know. We got a couple new faces on here. So Craig, just let us know a little bit about what you got going on and what you're going to be doing for everybody in 2023.
Sure, you bet. Hey everyone, Craig Yenny here. So one of the money multipliers and just helping to teach and educate on the whole infinite banking concept process. Also love the Private Money Club. So I've been doing that for about a year. So happy to share any of that anyone has questions on.
Awesome. Carson, what's up, man?
What's up? How you doing, Steven?
I'm good.
Good, guys. Well, I'm excited to be here today. I'm Carson Herline. I've been here the past month or two. Just talking about Money Multiplier here as well, a mentor. And so I'm excited to be here.
What do you got going on in 2023, Carson? Any big plans?
Well, actually, I see Dexter Holiday's on here. What's up, man? I sent you an email yesterday. And so I'm actually a part of a real estate fund we just launched called the Nisio Capital Group. And so I'll be talking about that a lot as well as upcoming year.
What about personal, man? You got anything happening?
Personally, I'll be investing in that and some little bit of PMC. Going in the action.
You're not going where I want you to go. That's all right.
What do you mean? Where do you want me to go?
You don't have any personal life changes happening coming up?
Oh, yeah. I'm actually getting married in about a month.
Thank you. Jesus, come on.
Yeah, there it is, Steven. You're welcome.
Exciting stuff, man. Let's go, Yeah. All right, Jason, what's up?
Not much coming from the city. Beautiful. It's getting warm again. Some of that cold weather is finally leaving. We're down to 30, so I didn't like that at all during the holidays. We all shared the family flu, so getting over that. But excited to be here for a month and a half straight now. So answering people's questions. And if they don't have questions, we'll make them up. We'll find something to talk about, something to add more value, and just people helping people, as Devin likes to say. That's what we're doing here.
The Jedi's got the force with them in 2023.
Both sides. You got to keep it balanced.
Mr. Michelob Ultra, what's up?
Oh, here it is. There it is.
Yes.
I'm Joe. I'm money mentor, putting lazy cash to work, doing HELOCs, Private Money Club. What else?
Mr.
Everything and anything. How to spin it around and make it move.
Yeah, money never sleeps. You got
a new sign over your head too, Joe. We like that.
Yeah. Oh, you like that?
Yeah.
We got one. We're
working on it.
We upgraded the shoes in 2022. We're going to upgrade the signs in 2023. There we go.
That?
We got a goal. And then and then our idol, Mr. Burr. What's up, dude?
What's up, guys? Devin Burr, for those of you who don't know me, invest in real estate, obviously do policies. I've got 9 of them personally, and I set them up at a feverish pace. I try to just help as many people as I can understand this concept of infinite banking because it's changed my life. I know it can change anyone's life. It's just a matter of understanding it. Once you understand it, it's just at that point, just doing it.
Love it, man. And then we got one more guy joining the stream here, Mr. Chris Noggle. What's up, Chris? Who are you? Who are you and what do you do?
Who am I? I'm a nobody. And what do I do? Well, right now I'm drinking a beer.
There you go. What kind of beer are you drinking?
I don't know. It's a good one. This is Sudbury Blueberry. It's a sour pressure drop.
Very nice. All right. I was worried about you, man. You couldn't get out of the house. I thought you might run out of beer. So you made it to the store.
I haven't even had a beer since the blizzard happened. I was too busy out doing snow throwing classes, teaching people how to shovel snow.
Plus, he's got a full bar behind him, so I think he'll be okay.
I haven't even touched that. So that's all for you guys when you come over.
So Eve was asking about it not being streamed on YouTube. It should be streamed on YouTube. I will say that we did change the YouTube channel, not the Chris Noggle channel, but the Money School TV channel is now Private Money Club. So you can do YouTube at Private Money Club, and that will bring you to the new YouTube channel, well, new YouTube channel. So that might be, Eve, what the issue is. But I do show people that are viewing on YouTube right now, so it's definitely streaming. But we'll look into that if you're still having issues. So, all right, cool. So we didn't have any pre-submitted questions. So if you guys can throw some stuff in the chat box, we'll get to that. But where do you guys want to start for now?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. I'm just looking. I mean, there's so many things to talk about. I mean, we got a lot of people on here that aren't normally on here. So Devin, let's just kick you off here. You've been hitting it pretty hard lately. Like, what are some of the biggest things that people are talking about as we come up on this new year? Like, what are some things you're hearing or, seeing when you're talking to people?
So the biggest thing I've been talking to people about, which I think people should be focused on, is not losing money. Like, so many people want to like go make big returns and make a bunch of money, but honestly, right now, the most important thing is to not lose money, because we all know this. If you lose money, you have to earn twice as much just to get back where you started. If you lose 50%, you literally have to earn 100% to get back to square one. So right now, like chasing a big return, trying to do deals just because you want to do a deal doesn't make sense. It makes more sense to be patient, because this market is crazy. No one knows what's going to happen. I wish I had a crystal ball, but I don't. And I'm being very cautious right now. So that's another reason I love policies. I throw so much money in them because it's guaranteed to grow. It'll never lose money. It grows tax-free. And obviously, the longer you have it, the bigger the growth, because that's what compound interest is. It takes time. And eventually, the numbers get ridiculous. So that's what I'm talking a lot about right now to people, is just don't lose money. Be careful. Don't try to do an investment just to do an investment. Really do your homework and understand what you're getting into. But first, put the money in a policy so you can guarantee the growth of the money.
Yeah, there's a season for everything. Right now, it's preservation mode.
What do you think, Chris?
To.
Chris, does Chris agree, or he just got silent? He's like, man, this guy.
Well, that was weird. Like, all of a sudden, like, I'm hearing you speak these awesome words, and all of a sudden I just disappeared. StreamYard kicked me out. Pretty soon StreamYard is going to ban me just like TikTok did. I agree with you. I think this is a time to preserve and protect, a time to really be strategic about what you're doing, how you're doing it, and a time to really gain the knowledge in one or two areas that you can be very effective in, instead of trying to do the shotgun or the bird shot approach and just hit everything and try to do a little bit. This is where you got to get to be, laser focused on one thing. Like, I can tell you right now, I am laser focused on lending, and that is my sole thing that I'm focused my time and energy on, is lending. I got another deal I just got on Private Money Club. Should be funding that by early next week. It's just, underwriting the deals and just getting really, really, specific about what kind of risk you want to take in anything you're doing. I think that's a great advice. And I think, just now more than ever before is the time to get your money just changed where that money sits. The infinite banking concept is so powerful, but not everybody knows what they want to do with their money yet. But just get the process started and get your policy started so that the money's in the right place, so that when you're ready, you're not, backpedaling, trying to make things happen faster than they can. I just think a lot of people, just put things off to the last minute, and then all of a sudden they want the policy issued just like this. Well, no, it takes a lot longer than that. All right, Carson, what do you got? I don't think we have any questions that have come up yet. So people are still, in the holiday mode where they're not coming up with questions. So what do you got going on, like, from your questions you're getting?
Yeah, I was thinking about this when you brought up questions for 2023. Something people have been asking me are, what are the new rates for 2023? Dividend, guaranteed, loans, everything. Can you enlighten us, Chris?
What's that?
Can you enlighten us on those?
On my goals?
No, on the rates for the insurance policies.
Oh,
Guaranteed
nothing's,
rates,
nothing's
dividends.
everything stayed exactly the same. So I know Lafayette Life's, remaining the same. AUL's remaining the same. Mass Mutual, I believe, is remaining the same. One of them increased, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Guardian. So I think Guardian had an increase in their dividends. But outside of that, all the rates are the same. One America, I spoke to the vice president, and they're holding their loan interest rate. They have no plans of raising their loan interest rate. I know Mass Mutual did. Many people have not experienced the increase in their loan interest rate yet. So giddy up and go on that, because it won't change until your policy anniversary. So on the policy anniversary, any Mass Mutual contracts, the loan interest rate on the loans will go up. Lafayette, I believe, went up a little bit. Can anyone clarify that? What did Lafayette's loan interest rate go to?
I just
think
had a
it's 5
policy renew
1/4.
in December, and I think I'm still at 5%.
Okay, so maybe I thought I heard that went up, but maybe it didn't.
I think it's 5 1/4, Chris. I thought that I saw that on
Is it?
mine recently.
That's what I thought. I thought it went up either a quarter or 0.5%. So those are the main things. So really, it's business as usual. I've been working really hard with One America and their executive team, their actuaries, to create a product. It'll be the first of its kind. Well, I shouldn't say the first of its kind, because the HECV was kind of a one-off product that Mass Mutual did, but One America is coming up with a plan design that's definitely going to, if it catches steam, which hopefully it doesn't, because it'll be manipulated in ways I don't think will be good, but we'll definitely make it so that I think most of our money mentors will want to do just this one plan design, because it's very unique. It solves two major issues that we've never been able to solve with one design, where it takes and gives you a high early cash value by allowing the first year's monies to go in to be a 90-10, which is something that we, as a team here, really don't love, but it does give you that high early cash value in the first year. But then in the second year, in year 2 to 10, it flips and goes to whatever we want it to be. It can be a 75-25. It can be a 60-40. So now you're getting a lot more of that base in the policy that's going to really help long-term growth and long-term returns. So you accomplish short-term, the thing everybody wants when they're just looking at it, from the wrong eyes, but they just want that immediate gratification of that high early cash value year one. You get that because it's a 90-10. And then years 2 on, your whatever you want it to be based on the MEC rules or the design, you can customize that. So now what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to put larger dump-ins, into the One America policies. We're going to be able to get that high early cash value in the first year that everybody wants. And then years 2 on, we're going to basically be able to dial it back, get more base, and allow the policy more efficiency in the later years. It's pretty amazing. I've done it. I think I've done 3 policies with it, but the only problem is it's really going to work best for larger cases like 50,000 and above. I haven't tested it in anything smaller than 50 grand a year. So more to come on that.
Drew's asking what the typical break even on that design style is.
Year 3.
And then
most designs we're doing nowadays are 3 years right now after 7702. On a rare occasion with a really big dump in, and then like a lower minimum funded policy. Like, so if you did 100,000, maybe like a 10 or 12,000 a year. With Lafayette, you can get like 92, 93. One America, you're at the one I just did was 93% in the first year. And Guardian, I think, has anyone seen anything in the 90s with Guardian? Because I haven't. Seen like 88 is the max,
No.
788. Penn Mutual, I haven't really played with them too much. They're not my favorite company. And Security Mutual, even at the highest we've been able to get is in the 80s there. So, One America, our number one carrier, because it's the lowest loan interest rate with the highest guaranteed interest rate. The cool thing about One America, and listen, like sometimes you just need that sleep good at night. Sorry, I cut you off, Gabby, but this is important. The guaranteed and the non-guaranteed columns. Like I know, like Lafayette, it's a pretty big swing later in the years. Mass was a really big swing later in the years. One America, not big. Like when I'm looking at the guaranteed column and I'm looking at the non-guaranteed, there's not a huge difference between the two, even in the later years, which to me is awesome because you know what? Through hell and high water, I'm going to be able to like talk to clients and be like, well, I know we hoped that we were going to get here, but you know, guaranteed is here. Those two are very close. Now I think that's not going to be ever an issue, especially in most, not for a long time, because we've got one way to go with interest rates and that's up. But it's always just nice to know you got that downside protection. And that's one thing I love about One America. I'm not sitting here trying to do a One America commercial today, but I've had a really hard time with some of the other companies and their stupid rules, Mass Mutual to be one of the main ones, that it's just nice when you talk to a company that freaking gets it and gets it fast. And that's One America.
Yeah. And Eve, I'm definitely going to, oh, does somebody have something to say?
I was going to say something in regards to the guaranteed and the non-guaranteed. I actually had a question today about somebody saying every penny that goes into the policy does he get interest on? And we brought up the point of the percentage that goes to the base in regards to the percentage that goes to the PUA and the cost of insurance. So I was always under the influence that once every penny goes into the policy, that they were getting the interest rate on that.
You get it on the cash value.
The cash value.
Plans that we do, the cash value is pretty close.
Exactly. Okay. So the cost of insurance is not included in that. In a $1,000 a month policy, that would be $12,000 a year. Are they getting the guarantee on $12,000 a year, or are they getting the guarantee on the 750 times 12?
Yeah, whatever the cash value is what they're earning interest and dividends on, because the rest of it's netted out. So, you know, when you're thinking about that, it's a great way to look at it. But if they're putting $1,000 in, like
Right.
the insurance companies aren't nonprofit. We know there's a cost of insurance. That's going to come off of it. So they're going to get it on the net amount, which is the net cash value. So really, Joe, what you're thinking, you know, I used to think that way too. It's kind of one and the same. It's just you got to look at gross premium deposits and then take away the costs, and then the net is what we're earning on.
I see.
More questions on that design that you were talking about. David and Dorothy are asking if there's an age limit for that.
Yeah, 99. No, when you say an age limit, what do you mean by age limit? Do you mean like, is there a minimum and a maximum? I mean, not really a minimum. Well, One America is tough to do children's policies. So I would say, let's just, for all intents and purposes tonight, just say 17 years old to probably going to be effective to 65. Anything above that, like the cost of insurance will really rein in on that return.
And then is this without a rider?
Depends on the design. If they're doing a dump in, no, there's definitely going to be a 7-year term rider.
Okay. Eve, sorry, I skipped you. I just want to get the questions on that specific design out of the way. So Eve is asking for nonprofit purposes, since there's no, the MEC doesn't really apply there. Does that mean one can decide to do an unplanned lump sum dump into it at any time?
I wish we had Hannah on. Can you read that one more time? Or maybe post the question at the bottom there?
I would, but I'm not able to do that. But it says
Is that the one that says Hannah type of question? Oh, it
yep.
is.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely Hannah type of question. An IBC policy, and any of you that want to answer this, feel free to jump in.
I believe this is true. It's just kind of like just any old policy where you do have the ability to put more in, but with without the MEC limit, for a nonprofit, there's no, taxes. Then adding more dump in.
Joe and I, and even Devin could probably speak on this because we're all doing the complex trust structure. Here we're talking about a nonprofit, but whether it's a nonprofit or, a corporate, the trust corpus, if the trust owns it and it's set up properly, or a nonprofit, the MEC rules are out the window, because in that environment, like, the taxes are just not an issue, especially in the nonprofit. So the simple answer is, Eve, yes. In a nonprofit, that owns the policy, can they make unscheduled dump-ins anytime they want? Yes, up to the limits of what the insurance company will allow. So there's this one group out there, I'm not going to name the name, but they say, they basically make it sound like, if the trust owns the policy, you can put any dollar amount you want in. That is false. the insurance companies will not allow you to put any dollar amount you want into the policy. There's limits, and usually it's like 10 times, or each insurance company is different. But it's not so much the MEC rules you got to worry about. It's the insurance company's limits that you got to worry about. So for the person's age, health, and death benefit that they have, there's only going to be so much money the insurance company will allow you to put in. So if that dump in takes you above and beyond your limits, not the MEC rules, but the insurance company limits, then they're going to cap you. So we just stay away from that. We're not trying to pitch that whole trust sale that the other company that I'm referring to is. The simple answer, yes. But the real answer is only up to the limits of the insurance company.
Right. Yeah. And I know, like, for an example, somebody who's making, $30,000 versus somebody who's making $3 million a year, they would have different limits. And that factors in, just for the income, but there's always the health factor too. And, gender and age, and all those things that go into determining what you can put in as a maximum. You can't, just like your house and your car can't be overinsured. Same for your body. That's kind of the thought here. Eve.
Well said.
David and Dorothy said just earlier today, you mentioned the MEC and age. And that was about the other designed policy. I think that's where they're coming.
The MEC and the age?
Like MEC 7 payroll.
MEC 7
coming into the picture.
The MEC, so let's just go back to what the MEC 7 pay is. I think that's the starting point. MEC 7 pay is an IRS rule that says based on the amount of death benefit you have, you can put in X amount of premiums over 7 years. So it's just the cumulative 7-year total based on a death benefit. So the way to trick the MEC rules is to layer term insurance for 7 years in. So now you've propped up the death benefit. Yes, the term costs money. So you propped up the death benefit, and now you can stuff a whole bunch more money in, and you really didn't spend a lot on that term rider. Now, where age factors into that is if you're older, let's say 65 or older is kind of where I normally draw the line, but we could even go to a 60 or older. Now that term insurance for those 7 years costs some bucks. And you then got to just do a mathematical equation of, does it make sense to have that term rider on the policy at that specific age to hold this amount of the dump in? And literally, it's just how we do that. It's very simple. We will run it with and without the MEC, or with and without the dump in. And then we just say, okay, without the dump in, there's no term rider. With the dump in, there's a term rider. But with the term rider, we can see very clearly, and Joseph does this probably better than any of us, and I'm not saying that against any of us because we're all good at this, but I've seen Joe do this more than any other money mentors. What he will do is he will always run those, and he will sometimes tell people not to do the dump in because that's going to require a term rider. And if they're older, that term rider just has a cost that over 7 years, it's hard to justify giving that much money up for the cost just to be able to dump the money. And in some cases, it just makes more sense to not dump the money in at ages, let's just say 60 or older. But I want to be careful about saying 60 because I've done plenty of policies, and I know all of you money mentors have done plenty of policies of 60 to 65 with large dump-ins, and the thing screams, right? So I don't think I'm wrong in that. So I guess 65 or older, but you really don't want to just use that as a general rule. You want to kind of run it. But if you just run the policy with the dump-in, it will show you based on the MEC rules how much term we need, and then you just look at how much the term costs. Gosh, I remember one vividly. I want to say they were in their early 60s. They dumped a lot in, like hundreds of thousands into the policy. The term rider was really expensive. I think the term rider, holy crap, I think it was like hundreds of dollars a month. But it still made sense because the amount of interest they were earning on that dump in outweighed the amount of the cost. So again, this is just one of those things where any money mentor that you get on the phone can just show you the mathematics behind it. It's not complicated. Hopefully that answers the question. Any other money mentors, feel free to jump in.
No, it's like what you said. The numbers have to make sense. At the end of the day, and what problem are we solving? What are we going to do with the dump? Is the dump going to be invested, or how much are we going to make out of the investment? Is that going to cover the amount of term that we have to pay in order to substantiate the amount of dump that we're going to get? It's all a numbers game.
I think, and Devin and Carson and Jason and Craig and everybody on here, I think we will all say that one of the biggest problems, kind of like what Devin was saying earlier, one of the biggest problems we see in this industry is everybody wants to make it about the product. And all of us know it's about the process. Like we make all of the money on the damn process of moving our money into different places. I mean, I got 2 vehicles in the garage. Devin's got, how many are you up to now? You got 6, 7 vehicles in the garage? 3? Okay. Sometimes the perception seems different because one day the R8's black, the next day it's blue. I want to think that there's got 2 R8s in there. But, all of these different things are opportunities to move our money. Now, I know it's just a car. But like, think about it. If you were to finance that car, we're not in la la land anymore where interest rates are 0 on car loans. Like they're like 6 or 7% now. So if you were to finance that R8 or if you were to finance my G-Wagon, like that's a heavy interest rate that you're paying to a finance company or to a dealership. We pay that to our policy. Like that is just, I don't want to say it's printing money because it's really not, but like, it can't get much simpler. That's why we're always telling the story of the cars, like because everybody has a car, everybody needs a car for the most part, and everybody's financing a car or leasing a car. Like just do the math and add up how much money you've given away in the last 5 years or 10 years for financing the cars in your garage. Maybe you don't have a garage and it's a driveway, same difference. Like add it up. How much money did you give away? Like the difference is we don't give it away. We still pay it. Like people are like, oh, you don't have a car payment. You're just getting the car for free. No. The car's not free, man. I had to buy the car with my own money. I make payments every month, but I get all the money back. It all ends up in my bank. Like sometimes I have a very difficult time when people just can't understand that general concept. There's nothing hard about it. We had some guy on the Facebook group, Craig, was a champion in dealing with this guy. Guy was just an asshole. Like at the end of the day, I just banned him. I just said, that's it. We're done. I ain't nobody got time for that, but it's just like, you can't understand a simple concept. It isn't even mathematics. It's just logic. Like you make car payments to a car place, okay, to finance your car. Even if you pay cash for the car, that's even worse because now you got a depreciating car and all that money's gone and never going to work for you again. But you got these payments that you're giving away. How much money would you have if you just paid those to yourself? Just do that. Like it never, ever, ever doesn't work. There's no complicated math in that thing. I don't even know what that dude was trying to do, Craig. I really don't. But there's nothing hard about that.
He was trying to upset you on Christmas, and I think he got it done.
And that, I was trying to be nice. Christmas, it's time of being giving and grateful. And I was trying to be grateful for this guy's negativity, thinking, oh, he's just having a bad day. Maybe he's stuck in an airport. Maybe he's upset. He's not with his family. And then he said one thing, and I'm just like, I don't care. Bye. Yeah.
I think the good thing about that whole post on the Facebook channel was so many people chiming in. There's a ton of value in the responses. So other people can read through that and learn from it. He didn't necessarily want to learn, but I think it was still valuable.
I agree.
The whole process. So.
Okay, Eve's got another question. She says, do insurance companies look at currently held whole life insurance policies under other companies, which limits how much they will insure you for?
Yeah, Devin, you want to take this? Is a good one for you.
You see my head shaking?
Yeah, I did.
So Eve, they do look at it. Basically, when you apply for a policy, they're going to ask if you have any kind of coverage, whether it be term, whether it be whole life. And to Gabby's point, you can't over-insure your body. So if you already have a bunch of insurance, life insurance, it's going to limit how much you can get approved for. There are workarounds to that. So for instance, my last policy I got, they wouldn't approve it. They said I had too much coverage on my own body. So what did I do? I got a policy on my daughter. So you can insure other people and be the owner of the policy. They're the insured body. You're just the owner. And that's always going to be a moving target too, because it's based off of how much income you have, your net worth. So when you go through an application, all those questions get asked. And if you make a whole bunch more money than you made the year prior, when you tried to get approved for a policy and got denied, you might get approved for it this time because you have more income. So your life value is more, but they definitely take a look at it.
And another thing that I've seen is people who have other coverage, let's say a term policy that, maybe it's kind of pricey for them. Maybe they don't really know why they got it. There's not really a purpose for it. You do have the option to to replace that insurance. If you know, a lot of times it doesn't make sense, but there are certain cases where it could. But that is another option that they will ask you when you take that out. Are you replacing other insurance too? So it
Yep.
wouldn't be adding; it would be just a replacement.
Yeah, to that point, that's why us on the team, guys, we don't really like the design 90-10, because when you put that little of a base with that much paid up additions, it's always going to need a term rider, which is going to boost that death benefit. So let's say you get a policy for $10,000 a year. So 1,000 goes to the base, 9,000 to paid up additions. But you're going to have a term rider. So that's going to take away from some of the paid up additions. It's going to boost the death benefit. And let's say you use your cash value to go make more money. You pay back your policy loan. Now you've got extra money just sitting around. You want that money to compound as well. So what do? You can't put more than $10,000 a year into that one policy. You have to start another one. And if you already have all this insurance because of the term rider, you might not get approved for another policy. What I tell my clients to do and what I try to do on my policies is I have a higher base, which gives me a little bit higher of a death benefit, dump money in so I get a lot of liquidity the first year, and then I don't need the term rider usually. So term riders, in my opinion, are not the greatest way to structure a policy.
I think that was super insightful. Like, we had a guy who won, his company gave him and all the VPs $1 million bonus. So he had a lot of liquidity, he had a lot of debt, and he wanted to say, okay, I'm going to start paying myself first. I'm going to start following these principles. I'm going to set up a big policy. And it came back and we tried to dump in $500,000 where they would let him dump in just a little over 300, right? Because of the human life value, where they would insure him up to $6.4 million, right? And not a penny over that. So like, his dilemma is like, okay, well, I have this much left. What do I do next? It's like, well, one, congratulations, you got approved for a really big policy. You have a really big parking spot for your money. Get that sucker going, get the debt, start recapturing, recycling the money. And then on top of that, open a policy on your wife, your kids, like take that extra money and open additional banking functions, like contracts within your family. You're going to do that anyhow. Now you have the opportunity to do it right now, right? But so there's always ways to be creative. I bring it up just because Devin made a great point and everyone else. It's the creativity of having the conversations and saying, okay, who's insurable? What can I do with the money? What is the money doing? And that's one of, like, I've had other people who have been overinsured when they try to dump a certain amount of money in. And that was my learning piece of saying, oh, okay, I see someone's making X, less than 100,000, but they're dumping in this much. It's overinsuring them right out of the gate. So how to restructure that so they can have the same outcome without having that much additional term bought to it. That's really why it's specific to each person.
Well said.
Absolutely. Okay. Josh is asking, well, he says he's in the process of starting his own policy, waiting on the medical exam. So he's becoming his own bank. Could and or should he put every dollar he has into the policy? We'll start there.
Anyone want to take that?
If he can get approved, I'd say yes, absolutely. Every last penny should go in there, in my opinion.
And I've heard a lot of different answers. So I'd like to hear what everyone, because I know everyone, like Joe has policies, and I've heard how Brent runs his policies, and people just have different, it's like how people pay back their loans, right? Some people pay them back always in a structured way. Other people just wait till they have the windfall and they dump it all back in at one time. So like, do people have a preference on how they're structuring their life to use their policy? Is like everything, they're buying everything through it, or is it just major capital purchases? Like, what does that look like?
A lot of the times you can't, unless you have some assets and things to prove that it could be afforded. Basically, there's a lot of consumer protection laws that saying, you know, you can only put, what is it, between 20 or 30% of your income.
Like 25%ish.
25, yeah, into your total gross income into policy premium. So the way to get around that would be if you had assets and things you can report, it would bump that up a little bit. But you know, if you just had a W-2 job making regular consistent income every month, you'd be limited. So they wouldn't actually let you put 100% of what you're making in there, because obviously you don't want to. Yeah, Drew, only 25% gross income. Yeah. I mean, they take.
I read that wrong then. I was reading it as, should I put just all the money I have into it? Yeah, if you guys.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, like you can't just put all of your income in it unless you have more assets. But if you just have like 20, 30 grand sitting in the bank, put every last penny of it in a policy if it gets approved. Because if it's sitting in the bank, let's say someone trips and falls at one of my properties, and let's say I own the property, which I don't, it's held in a trust and then all that kind of stuff. But let's say I own it personally. They trip and fall and they sue me. They can take the money on a lawsuit out of my bank account. In a policy, it's untouchable by lawsuits and judgments in most states. In Arizona, 100% untouchable. So that's the first thing, is it can't be touched by anyone but me. Even if, let's say, my wife tries to take a policy loan and put it into her bank account, they won't even approve it. It has to go from the policy that's in my name into a bank account in my name. So only I can touch the funds. So 1, it's protected. 2, it's going to grow way more than any bank account would. 3, it gives you a death benefit. Your bank account does not. And 4, you can use the money without interrupting the compound growth. If you use the money out of a bank account, you're going to interrupt your 0.06% growth that you're earning. And oh, by the way, you're getting taxed on that 0.06.
0.006.
Mr. Zero.
I forgot. But here's the thing. You're taxed on that. So they're going to tax. It's so funny when I look at my bank statements. I don't keep a ton of money in the bank because of what we believe in infinite banking. I keep most of it in policies, and then I take it and then just flow it through. But it's funny when I look at my bank accounts, I see like interest paid, and it's like 3 pennies. It's ridiculous. So if you have money just sitting around, 100%, every last penny of it should go into a policy if you're approved.
That just reminds me of the quote from Home Alone, where he's like, "Keep the change, you filthy animal." You like want to throw it back.
Perfect for the timing with the holidays.
Okay, so actually, that brings to his next question. How easy is it to access my money?
Oh, geez. Easier than going to the bank and taking money out. The only thing easier to get access to money is writing a check. I mean, Devin, all of us have done this numerous times, but literally, like, I've done numerous calls with clients where while I'm talking to them and they ask me that, I log into one of my portals, one of my accounts, my policies, and I literally say, okay, so while you were just asking me that question, I logged in and I'm at the part where it says, take max loan. I click the button. It asks me 3 or 4 questions, depending on the carrier. And then I just tell them where they want the money. So for most, all intents and purposes, 36 hours is what I always tell people. But Devin, how long did it take you to get your money out?
That's usually the average. Yeah. I've had, the smaller the amount, the quicker it is. So I did a policy loan one time for $5,000. It got there the next day. Bigger amounts have taken up to like a week. But it's definitely a lot easier, guys. Like I sold a property last year and had just a lump sum of capital. So I got the capital I put into the deal plus my profit. So it was like 200 and something thousand bucks. And my personal bank accounts were with Bank of America. My business ones were Bank of America. So I was trying to deposit the check on my phone. It was too big of a check. So I'm like, okay, I have to go to the bank now. So I go to the bank and I'm at the teller and I'm like, here, I want to deposit this into my business bank account. And they're like, oh, they were asking me every single question in the book. I'm like, look, the money is in my personal account right now with you guys, with Bank of America. I just want to put it into the business account. And it was ridiculous. They asked me my shoe size, my blood type. I needed to have like my phone on me. They had to send me a text message. I was like, my phone's in my car. They're like, can you go get it? I'm like, I've got my ID. I've got my debit card. It's me. The money is with you guys. It's just in my personal account. I want it in my business account.
How'd that
Hardest
make
thing
you
ever to
feel?
get done. Oh my God. I think literally I opened another policy the next day or started the process.
I think you did too. Actually,
Oh,
I know
God.
you did.
Yeah. So when we
Oh,
say
yeah,
liquid,
yeah,
Showing that property, and
Yeah, because I remember I told you about this.
seeing the
I remember I
application
told you
come
about
in.
this
Yeah.
headache. God.
so we say
Yeah, so that
liquidity,
was-
use, and control. This is what we mean. This people want freedom. We talk about all the time. Like, what do people want? They want freedom at the end of the day, and freedom to do what they want when they want, and they don't want to deal with. Devin's like, I got the money here. It's right here. I just want to put it here. I want to take it from my left hand, put it in my right hand, and they want him to go get his phone with
Oh,
an
God
ID.
forbid.
It was even worse. I was telling them it was in their pockets. I'm like, dude, take it from your left pocket, put it into your right pocket. Your left pocket is my personal account. Your right pocket is my business account. Can you just do that? And it was like the hardest thing ever just to have them do that. Just because of the amount. It was
like a
a
circus
larger
act.
amount.
They
So
were just
annoying.
they were just jealous. She was jelly.
Joe's got a good story about that, and then we'll finish up Josh's question and go to Tam's. But Joe, remember when you walked into? I think it was Bank of America that you walked into?
That was Bank of America.
Yeah, tell the story there because this is funny. Here, I'm going to highlight you on this one. It's a good one.
You know, I remember doing it, but I don't remember the verbatim wordage that we were doing it. But when I took the check to her, I was saying more or less, you know, where should this go? And I said, I just want this to be put. Dude, I forgot how this went.
Well, no, you had a large chunk of money.
Yeah,
I don't remember
right.
what it was from. It was hundreds of thousands. And
Right.
you went in, you met with a private banker because you kind of wanted some solutions.
It was
that
the private
would put
banker.
money. And then you told her you just wanted to put the money in the same place the bank put their money.
Exact. So yeah, that's what. So I want you to put the money where the bank puts their money. And she looked at me, and I actually I didn't put the money there. She wouldn't even open the account. She wouldn't open up it was the business account. She wouldn't open up the business account. I think that was for us. I think that was for our account.
It was. So it would have been 200 or 220,000 for our private hedge fund. That's right.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And then yeah, that was. And I just said, okay, never mind. I just picked up the check and walked out the door. I mean, she just
And
looked at me
blacked it out.
crazy. Yeah, she looked at me like I was nuts.
Well,
She got that part right.
You were nuts to her because she's so in the square box.
Yeah. I'm like,
Actually, Drew's comment's hilarious. Back to Devin, he said they wanted your daughter as collateral.
Oh gosh.
Oh man, hitting below the belt.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, she's got a boyfriend now. It's yeah.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Yay.
She's 15. He's a nice kid. He
Oh.
met I met
Oh,
him
wow.
and he walked right up to me, looked me right in the eyes, firm handshake. I was like, all right. He probably Googled like how to meet dad.
Did you have like a crazy uncle or brother stand there like to do the like Bad Boys Will Smith thing? Kind of make him real uncomfortable.
You ever been with a man? No. You want to?
Wow. So the last part of
I
Josh's
love that
question-
movie.
Yeah. The last part of his question is, do I call you guys every time I want $100 or do I take out a lump sum? You don't call us every time you want to, unless you want us to map it. Then you would go through the mapping team, which is a service we provide to all of our clients for free. But then the second part really threw me, and I got to come back, and hopefully somebody here has the YouTube video I did. You should never use these policies to pay your household expenses, because you said, such as my monthly expenses. Like, there is no value in using your policy to pay monthly expenses until your policy is at least 5 years old and the efficiency point. I hate when people want to use their policy to pay monthly expenses. Matter of fact, I wouldn't open a policy for you if that's what you want to do with it, because the whole idea that tells me that you understand the policy to a certain extent and what it does and the benefits of doing it, but you completely don't understand the infinite banking concept. Because if you're going to take money from your policy, the money needs to go somewhere to work for you. And last time I checked, taking money from your policy to buy groceries and then eating the groceries has zero intrinsic value to you at all. You're not making any money on that. Well, I don't know. I got to say that carefully. If you're a bodybuilder and you're going to go win a bodybuilding thing because of the food that your policy paid for, Maybe I was looking at Devin thinking that, but outside of that, there's never going to be a time where using your policy to pay for your household expenses is going to make a lot of sense. Is it better than using a checking account? Yeah, after year 5, it is. And Nelson Nash's book says that. I totally disagree, because that just says that, anybody that wants to use their policy, in the infinite banking concept to go buy groceries, diapers, and movie tickets for the night for their date, says that they're being incredibly lazy and not putting any thought into how to make their money actually work for them, which means there's no way I could help you. You're
Chris,
never.
I would disagree.
I know you would. That's what this is all about. We can agree to disagree, but I made a YouTube video saying you shouldn't use that. So Devin, take up and I know what you're going to say, and it's not going to be wrong. It's just I think there's better ways to do it. So how would you do it?
So you're correct. If you just take a policy loan and just that money goes into your bank account and then you go do your expenses, that makes 0 sense, because you're not making a spread on money. That's what infinite banking is just a spread on money. That's it. If you borrow at 4 and you make 5, you made a 1% spread. That's it. That's all it is. If you're borrowing at 4 to go buy groceries and your expenses, you're not making a spread. Doesn't make sense. Here's what I would do, and here's what I do. I put those things on a credit card. I get all the points, the flyer miles, whatever the credit card gives me. And then at the end of the month, whatever that balance is, I take money from my policy, pay off the credit card, and now I just treat myself like the credit card company. I pay myself back for the money that I borrowed. So I'm making that spread. Credit card companies are 16 to 25% usually. So that's all I do. I put all my expenses on credit cards, get the flyer miles, get the points, borrow the money from a policy, pay off the credit card so I don't pay interest to the credit card company. But if I would have done that, if I would have not paid it off, I'd have to pay them interest. So I just pay myself that interest back into my policy.
Makes sense. Anyone want to comment on that?
I have a little curveball.
Yeah, it was good though. It was good. I knew there was something. That wasn't what I thought he was going to say, but it was smart. It was smart.
So I'll go with what Devin said with the spread. So if we're borrowing it at 4 and we're making 5 with the dividends and interest, let's say 2 people needed to purchase gas. One person without a policy and one person with a policy. So the person without the policy goes to the left side of the gas station and the other guy goes to the right side of the gas station. Same pump. But when he goes in, he puts in $100 in his vehicle and $100 into the other vehicle, and they go in to pay for it. That person without the IBC policy took $100 out of his pocket, handed it to the cash register. How much money did he just spend?
100.
$100. How about the person with the IBC policy? They put in $100. They took $100 out of their pocket, right, Devin? Took $100 out of their pocket and paid the cashier. How much money did that person spend?
$4.
Oh, it gets even better. Whose money was it?
The insurance companies.
Exactly.
Oh,
and we're still
you're
making
just
a
paying
spread
interest.
on it.
You're paying interest on the $100, so they would have only paid $4 over the year to borrow that 100.
But you're making 5%, so you're actually making 1 point on it, still making money. And we drove away from the gas station. We're still making money on it, and we left.
How many of you think we should collaboratively as a team just get together and write a book? Everybody writes a chapter on the one thing they're an expert in. Because seriously, what is the value on the things you're getting here? They're different opinions, different ways to use it. But again, there's no one way that's the right way. There's so many ways you can do this. And gosh, we should do that.
Joe tells that story on his calls.
To Joe's
too.
point,
If you get to go on Joe's calls, you get to hear that story, because I have heard that story before.
I like it. I like it.
I will say to Joe's point, he's correct. I mean, you're still kind of making a spread, but I always look at policies like this: is what's the best use for them, right? You're never going to get wealthy and super rich by using a policy to do all your expenses. It's just not going to happen. Even with what I do, where I use a credit card, get the points and the flyer miles, and then pay it off, pay myself back 18, 19, 20% interest. I'm not going to become a multimillionaire that way. The best use for a policy is to borrow against it and go invest the money. Make a big return by something understand, and you've dove into, you've mitigated your risk while the money's still compounding and growing at the same time, tax-free. That's the best use for a policy. You can buy cars, you can buy a jet ski like I have, wine cellar in my house, landscaping in my backyard. I've done all these things with policies. They're not the best use for them, but I was going to do those things anyways. I was going to buy a car anyways. Should I pay myself the interest or should I pay a bank the interest? I should pay myself the interest. I was going to get a wine cellar in my house anyways. Should I pay the bank for borrowing money from them or should I pay myself for borrowing for my policy? So I think Joe's correct. There's always just better uses for policies than just expenses.
Yeah, there's just always a creative option out there. Okay, rapid fire. Tam, actually, Craig, you want to answer this one. Tam is asking, in these policies, do you need it to add a rider for the cash value?
Yeah, that's the paid up additions rider. So when you structure your premium, you'll have some portion of that going to base and some portion of it going to the paid up riders or the paid up additions. So that's the thing that's really going to drive the cash value inside of the policy.
Cool. Thank you. Okay.
Yep. And Gabby, one quick thing just for Josh, it's more of an administrative thing, but you talked about the ease of getting money in and out. If you set up with the insurance company the ability to do the direct deposit, you're going to get your money a lot faster. If you don't, they'll send you a check. So just know that if you go set that up, it's best to get it set up in a direct deposit. So when you take a loan, it goes right to your bank account. If you don't, it's the snail mail. It's going to come in the post office. So from the post office box.
Okay, Dexter's asking, he has 2 policies on 2 children that are not his personally. Their mother couldn't get approved at the time because of a health issue during her pregnancy. Since he already has policies on the kids, would he be able to do additional ones without the mother again?
Oh, I don't know.
It's at the time of issuance, right?
Yeah.
There needs to be
So
established
I think he would. I think
Are they reliant on you in some way? I mean, do they live with you? Do they? Is there some kind of dependency? Because I've had people who don't have direct children, and actually their mother was, they weren't even married, but they lived in the home, so he could prove that there was some kind of financial dependency there. So, I guess we would just need more details on that. Josh is asking, is PMC a one-time charge, Chris?
It's a yearly charge. So every year it's $9.97 or $14.97 without the discount code, which ends, what day is New Year? Sunday? Sunday's
Sunday.
1/1? Yeah.
Yep.
So the $9.97 with the founder's discount code goes till 1/1. And then after that, it's $14.97. And it's per year.
Okay. David and Dorothy said they'll write the chapter in our book on new investors.
Love it.
Love to have you.
I love the last one. You want to read that?
Yeah, you guys just add more variables to keep us divergent creative thinkers up all night.
I was wondering if you were chuckling because of that, Chris. That's what I was wondering.
Wait, what's that, Jason?
I was wondering if that's what you were chuckling at, was that comment, because I like that comment as well.
100%, because the first thing that goes to my mind is, are you an engineer? That's the first thing I think about.
And then, but it comes back to that with the numbers, like we talked about. It's not about the numbers, right? It's really about following the core principles, right? Of thinking long term, of paying yourself first, of being an honest banker, and then don't use outside lenders. If like you just wrote those up and live by those, you would be so much more armed for every conversation, everybody that's come and asked about. It's just about the creativity, but it's really those 4 principles. They boil down everything for us.
Yeah, Jason, do you want to answer the last question from Antonio? Is it okay to change your premium from annual to semi-annual if you are having difficulty in making payments?
The wealthy have more options, right? I like to kind of we like to talk about the wealthy have more options. So you can change your mode of payment year to year. And I used to say it's 2 things. It's usually annual or monthly, but you also have semi-annual or quarterly. I had my first quarterly person sent in yesterday. I'm like, oh, that's fun. I've never done that in 200 plus, people I've helped, but now I'm sending quarterly things. So you can change it if that is your situation. I would definitely contact them and see. Can you do it mid-year though? That I don't know.
You can, yes.
Okay, so
So,
yes, I would go ahead and have that change for yourself then.
Yeah, Antonio, I'll just chime in on that. Like, I remember, I think it was 2 years ago, I had started a bigger policy, not big Devon style, but a bigger policy. And it was an annual. It was my first annual because almost all 9 of my policies are funded either monthly, and I think I have one quarterly. But then I had this one annual one. I'm like, oh, I got the money. I'm going to do it. Well, the next year comes and I get that premium notice in the thing, and it's, got 5 digits, not 6, but it's 5 digits. Now that came at the exact same time as my house property taxes, which I live in New York. So almost 30 grand in property taxes hit. And I think there was a couple other bills that came at the exact same time. Because why would you only get one big bill at one time, right? They all come at the same time, don't they? And is that the truth? Like Devin, I know, we've talked about this. Like you never just get the one big bill. You get like 4 big bills at the exact same time. And I'm like, crap. And I didn't have enough cash to fund the premiums, annual premium, pay my property taxes, and pay all the other bills. I think one was I get a lot of attorney bills, and I had to make a decision. So I literally called the mapping specialist, which is kind of funny. Like I'm calling the mapping specialist, but I use the mapping team for everything I do with my policies because why not? That's what they're there for. And I changed it to quarterly. So now I get quarterly premium notices. Now I know I'm not making as much. I probably give up about 6 to 9%. I would make 6 to 9% more if I did it annually because of the compound interest. But I do it quarterly because it fit my cash flow model and how I get paid and how my money flows. Now, there's never been a time where I've had to go back. What I like to get back to annual, but I just like cash flowing things. I never keep a lot of money in the bank ever. I'm like Devin. Like when I got money in the bank, I get goosebumps. I don't know if Devin got that from me or I got that from him, but I'm constantly trying to put money into policies. But sometimes we overstep a little and we get caught off guard. So just change the mode, and you can always change back. So to Jason, where he was saying, can you change it? You can change it 1 month and then go back the next month. The only thing I would say is if you ever were to change your premiums, like, let's say you started a policy at 10,000 a year and you couldn't do 10,000. So you decided to reduce it to the minimum. Let's just say it's 4,000. Never, ever, ever make the minimum premium deposit without adding at least $120 a year or $10 extra per month, because the insurance companies love this little game. That extra rider, the paid up additions rider that Jason mentioned, I think, or Craig, I think actually mentioned that. They will take that away from you. They will take away your ability to ever put any extra money into your policy if you don't make at least a $10 minimum or $120 annual extra PUA deposit per year. Don't make that mistake. I don't think any of our clients have, but I know a lot of people that we've spoken to that were with other people, like they paid the minimum and they're like, hey, I called the company and I wanted to bump back up to the full amount. And they said that I can. I'm like, oh, you forgot to make that extra $10 a month or $120 a year PUA payment, didn't you? Oh yeah. They said I could just make the minimum. Yeah, of course they did. Now you can't ever go back. They won't let you. Tricky.
And is that the advantage?
Now you got a normal whole life.
Yep.
Is that the advantage of going through the mapping team, because they'll look out for that kind of situation versus just going directly to the insurance company?
Well, that's one of the benefits of the mapping team. I mean, I don't know why our clients dodge the mapping team's call. That I think more than any other dodged call, that one pisses me off the most, because we spend a lot of money to provide a mapping team for all of our clients. And then our mapping team is just there to serve you as a client. Like that's it. They're there to help solve your money problem. And people dodge their calls all the time. Like every year or every quarter, they'll get a hold of you to see if anything's changed, and people just ignore them. I get messages all the time. Devin, all you guys get these. I mean, we get messages from the mapping team. Hey, here's a list of all the people that won't take our call. And I'm like, they won't take your call? Like, what in the hell is wrong with people? Like, maybe we should start charging for the mapping team so that when people like pay for that service, they actually take the call. Like, that's the broken mindset. Like, people value things they pay for, but when something's free, it's not free. We're paying for it for you, and we're paying dearly, high 6 digits, so that you have this team to service you. So when people don't answer their calls, like, I get mad. I don't know about you guys. Maybe I'm just an angry little guy, but man.
Yeah, like why the hell not? All right, everybody. I think that's a wrap. We're a little over.
Yeah, a little bit over. Awesome. It was good to have the whole team here. I mean, it's been a bit sparse the last couple of weeks. Everybody traveling. I mean, you got world travelers on here. You got people that, or getting the flu and all sorts of stuff the last couple of weeks. But it was fun to have everybody back on. It provides a lot of extra value. So thanks to this team for showing up to the game, and Happy New Year's to everybody. Enjoy, be safe. You know, if you're going to drink a lot so that you sleep at the bar. Do not get in the car and drive. Outside of that, make sure you got lots of life insurance on you. Other than that, be safe. Enjoy the New Year's. We'll see you guys next time.